Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, the empty where last time Urianji had the great idea. We summoned primals, speed them up to awaken the land, and so far our first test with Leviathan seemed to have worked. We have water here now. I think this proves that the water aspected Alpha is no longer lying dormant, so which element should we realign next, Urianji? I propose Earth. Should we succeed in returning the soil's life-giving energy, the empty shall become capable of supporting the growth of flora. Imagine that, forests in the empty. But before we begin, I'd like to know how that girl is doing. Still sound asleep. She didn't so much as stir, even when I took her helmet off. I thought it might be getting a bit stuffy in there, and I was curious to know what sort of person we're dealing with. She seems surprisingly normal, not at all like your usual void scent. I'd say she's around the same age as Urine, perhaps a little older. Well, whoever she is, we should let her rest while we concentrate on the task at hand. As much as I'd love to go with you, I'd best stay here in case she wakes up and is feeling less than cooperative. And while I wait here, wishing I had something to read, my thoughts will be with you as you fly off to face the next opponent. Must be a strange feeling to bring something into existence through your own willpower, only to slay it immediately after. I almost feel sorry for the poor thing. All the same, I wish you luck. If all goes well, he won't be waiting for long. The sooner we get this over with, the sooner we can see the results. Once more onto the empty, dear friend. More prepared, I presume. Now, before we embark on our journey, there's one question I feel I should ask. Where are we going? I would suggest a certain region that lieth east of Northrend, which was once home to the great Mount Atlas. And for the Earth-aspected primal we wish to invoke, what could be a more fitting choice than Titan? I don't think I've heard of that one. What's it like? The Landslides. No. Worshipped by the kobolds. I think we mentioned those. They are your words equivalent to the Mord, yes? But if our last battle is anything to go by, this one will be different from the Titan that Serenia remembers, yes? Aye, it would be wise to consider the two as entirely separate beings. As such, thou must needs conceive new stratagems if thou art to triumph in the battle to come. Past experience will avail thee naught, I fear. Alright, Serenia, once you're ready, we'll be on our way. Took a while, but we finally arrived. Ready, Serenia? Memories of Titan come tumbling back. Eden's Gate Sepulchre is now accessible. Heriter of Cracks, Titan. Okay, you look far more impressive than the other one. A well-reborn Titan was just a sumo ringer. From the heart of a mountain I rise. Something is... Oh. orient myself here. Tempered in the flows of a mountain's core, my rage is eternal. There's no salvation for the sons of man. Oh, ow. I believe I missed something. I'm not the only one. This is my second try, the first time we completely failed. So I have some rudimentary idea what I'm doing. Kann grad nicht. Over here. Tempered in the flow of a mindless core, my rage is eternal. Massive landslide. Yeah? Yeah. I wondered what the safe place here was. I'm unbreakable. Unstoppable. Go down, Overdweller. I'm still not certain how to evade massive landslide. Last time was lucky. Paradise found 1. Okay. As I said, this Titan is a lot scarier than the Realm Reborn one. A lot better looking as well, as I said. Minor is, I believe, I finished the first part of Eden thing, right? Eden's Gate, yeah. Welcome back. You must be exhausted. For a creature made of rock, he was a lot more agile than I was expecting. I wonder, was the Titan of your world a tough opponent too? Yes, if I'd put one foot wrong, I would have fallen to my doom. So, all it would have taken is a momentary lapse of concentration? I don't like the sound of that. But more importantly, you defeated another elemental being, which means we're one step closer to reclaiming the empty. Can't wait to see how much of a difference we've made this time. Did we really do all this? Rocks. Actual rocks. It would appear the balance has returned to the element of earth, and yet... The transformations affected only the immediate vicinity, whereas the lands beyond this lake that remain unchanged. 'Tis passing strange indeed. Did we do something wrong? Though this falls short of the outcome I had envisioned, 'tis plain our efforts were not in vain. Mayhap this localized phenomenon is the result of an intersection of ethereal currents. Therefore, it's reasonable to assume that similar locations in the empty have undergone comparable alterations. Then the ether will spread out from these points to cover the rest of... Green? The light is getting to you? Maybe? Are you alright? Perhaps asserting her will over Eden have taken its toll. It's nothing. It didn't look like nothing to me. You better lie down for a while. No, really, I'm fine. Anyway, we still got work to do. Nay, thank goodness the right of it. It would be unwise to exert thyself overmuch. I appreciate your concern, but I do wish you'd stop fuzzing. Ween, thou knowest not the strain thou dost place on thyself. While the elements of water and earth have been restored, continued exposure to the empty, stagnant aether may yet sap thee of thy remaining strength. Now that you mention it, I've been feeling a bit out of sorts ever since we got here. I should probably get away from the empty and rest for a while. Pray do so. Meanwhile, I shall remain here. The restoration of the first two elements has produced unexpected results, and I require time to analyze our findings. However, I must ask thee to refrain from discussing our work on the empty, even with our closest comrades. Why? I thought they'd welcome the news. And indeed they shall, once we have more to show for our efforts. Nevertheless, this mission is one of surpassing danger. I'm loath to place our dearest friends at risk unless absolutely necessary. You have their best interests in heart, I'm sure, but to be perfectly honest, I'd prefer not to keep secrets from people that I trust with my life. I don't want to make a habit of this, but I'll do as I ask. It seems to me that Reen isn't the only one who would benefit from a change of scenery. Our Sleeping Beauty would likely fare better in a more hospitable surroundings. We'll need to have our associates from the Crystarium organize a safe place for her to stay. If you and Serenia could go on ahead and have a word with them in Motsuk, we'll catch up with you once Ryanje is finished. Whatever he needs to do. Perhaps Thou too shouldst accompany her on the return journey. I dare say she would be glad of her presence. No, not this time. She's come such a long way since we first met, and I worry that relying on me too much will only hold her back. We won't be staying there first forever. The time will come for Reen and I to part ways, and for her to follow her own path. I know you understand this too, Irianji. I see you trying to pass on as much of your knowledge as possible while you still can. And to her credit, she's actually taking most of it in. Reen is possessed of a natural affinity for ethereology, unlike some of who shall remain unnamed. A natural affinity for staying awake during your lectures, more like, though come to think of it, she doesn't really take after me at all. However, like thee, she is predisposed to brooding in silence in lieu of voicing her concerns. Says the master of keeping his cards close to his chest. Anyway, Serenia, you'd better take the sky slipper with Reen. It's true that she's been through a lot lately, but so have you. We need you ready for the challenges that lie ahead. So go on and get some rest. We shall await news of thy safe arrival in Amarang. It seems like you were all having quite a serious discussion. I hope I haven't given you any cause for concern. Well, if you say so, I probably shouldn't stay and be empty any longer than necessary though, so, do you want to take first shift piloting or shall I? Oh, I'm glad I had you there to keep me company. I have no idea how I would have passed the time otherwise. Now that we're here, I need to find our contact from the Crystarium. But before that, I was hoping I could have a word with you. Something's been on my mind. This might not be the best place for it though. Those creatures over there look a bit hungry. When I first spoke to Fanquid and Urianji about what I'd sensed in the empty, part of me wished we could have just left it alone. I guess I was scared of what we'd find. But now that we found Eden, I know that I made the right choice. And if I'd given in to my fear, I probably would have spent the rest of my life wondering what might have been. From now on, whenever I hear that voice inside telling me to run away, to hide, I won't listen. That's not who I am anymore. Even so, all the courage in the world is not going to help me decide what we should do with that girl when she wakes up. Do you remember what she said right before she passed out? Why am I here? What is happening? What if she's being controlled or forced to act against her will? Whatever the case, it's clear that she's not a monster. She's a person like you and me. Obviously, she knows something about Eden, and we need all the information we can get. But more than that, I just want to talk to her, to find out who she is, and if there's anything we can do to help her. On the other hand, we mustn't forget that she's already attacked us once. What's to say she won't try it again when she wakes up? If she keeps us from reclaiming the empty, it will be all my fault. It's no good, I can't make up my mind. What do you think we should do, Serenia? Even Emmett Selk had his reasons. We should at least hear her out. I see what you mean. Perhaps if we'd been able to come to an understanding, things wouldn't have ended the way they did. I hope that she's nothing like Emmett Selk, but we won't know until we speak to her. Until then, I try to concentrate on the here and now. Speaking of which, I still need to see you to Rianje's errands. The people we are on our way to meet lent us the Sky Slipper and most of the apparatus we've been using. And since we've been sworn to secrecy, I assume the same applies to them and their colleagues. Anyway, once that's over with, we can find a place to relax. More Zug. Now that we're here, allow me to introduce you to two members of our inner circle, or whatever you want to call it. That's Gulgul, who is interested in trading for any relics we find in the empty. Apparently he mostly deals in exotic weapons and whatnot, but he's agreed to keep us supplied with whatever else we can't get from the Xtarium. Now the ones we came to meet should be around here somewhere. Ah, Wien, what a relief it is to see you returned unharmed from your expedition. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. We were gone a bit longer than we expected. Serenia, I'd like you to meet Luray. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. As representative of a settlement council, I'm here to oversee the delivery of equipment deemed necessary to your mission. I will be on hand to provide any assistance you may require. Actually, there's something we'd like you to take care of. It's probably best not to talk about in the middle of a market, though. I take it from here, Serenia. You should get some rest. But before you go, I'd like to thank you for everything you've done. We still have a long road ahead of us, but if we give it our all, there's nothing we can't handle. Let's see. Though it's a mere supposition, it would behoove us to proceed with caution. Moreover, I would refrain from discussing the matter with Reen and Serenia until we know more. Well, I appreciate you telling me, even if it's too soon to be sure. I'm the one watching over her, after all. The Oracle of Darkness. Pray it's not true. But I think that is the end of this first part. Well, it's the first part of Eden. And, yeah, we continue this another time. Maybe I do something else for a while, because, well, let Reen rest, right? Until next time, when we play more Final Fantasy XIV, I'm Mace, and don't get lost.